This is Paul from the Tech Modeler channel with my update on my Tamiya 1/16 Tiger, a buddy build with switcher. And Richard's switcher has already done an update recently, and he's coming along nicely. And he's just like me. I've just got over having what I believe was the flu, Australian version, I believe was the way it actually affected me. Me and the wife were both ill over Christmas, so basically all the family that were coming over didn't come. So we had a quiet Christmas, but falling asleep on the old settees like most people do when they're ill. And so really I've still got a little bit of left over in me, but not nowhere as near as bad as it was. So I'm back in to do a bit of the modelling. So I did do some odd bits over that period, but not enough to say I'd done modelling, because every time I got up here I was feeling drowsy and sleepy. And what I will tell you is I actually mucked up the photo etch front fenders, and I just threw them in the bin. I was silly. I shouldn't have done anything when I was ill, and I did. And basically, I touched the soldering iron. One of them fell to bits, and trying to put them back together after you've soldered them once, just not a waste of them. So I put them in the bin, and I thought, that's it. I better not do any more modelling. So that's what I didn't do. But last week or so, I've actually been doing bits and pieces, as Switcher knows, and so this is what I've actually done. And I'll show you the back in a minute, because that's all been done with photo etch. All the tools are in place, bits and pieces. I've got to do the next thing that's got to be done on the back row basically is the putting the Mr. Surfacer 500 on and splashed all over the place. Not coated, but just generally dabbed to give it that textured look. So that'll be done. The exhausts have got, as you can see, have got a bit of rust on them. That's the base coat on it. I've done it with a brush, paintbrush, and using the Life Color series, and that's only the first color. I've just had a first bit of coat on it, and they're glued in place now. Also, you won't see any of the air cleaners that are on the back of the vehicle, because when I see both photographs of Otto Karis's vehicle, they haven't got it on there, but they will have had the remaining parts of it. We can see here the actual pipes. Now I've actually drilled them out and put a new backing plate underneath, so you can't see down to the actual engine surface plate. So there's also actually a plate built in. It's included in place now. I've actually put the brackets holding the pipes there, because that would have still been in place, because it would have been on the vehicle at some point and just taken off. So at some point further down, I think it's 1940, not late 43, basically they started not doing it. So but I've actually left those back, as I've got the bolts coming up, which are going to be painted as well, and I've put the plate that was supported them across the top, bolted us down with the bolts as well. So that's looking quite nice, and that's the way it's going to look for this particular vehicle. I couldn't see the engine deck, but I know full well that bit would have still been in place, because they didn't modify it to a bit later on with a plate, which is which is on Switcher's Tiger when you see that, and that's what the Tiger eventually went to. But this is where they pluck the pumps. I've got to, oh yeah, I've got to replace two square blocks here, which I cut off by mistake. They are the actual mounting brackets of the air clean. They were welded on, so there's no problem. I can cut them out of white plastic art, glue the bits on, and put a bit of a bit of welding marks around them, and basically they'll be back in place. I know exactly where they go, so that's good. So yeah, I think I might have mentioned about the hatches are just actually sitting up there, but they have got to have a lot of photo etch inside both of those. The driver's hatches are sitting in, they've been built up. Again, they've got photo etch parts, so I'm going to put inside them. And I've got to build the periscopes, because the periscope, there isn't one on it actually on for this kit, in the kit. And the photo etch part has got some bits, but it might be easier to use a combination of photo etch plus some plastic card to actually make the periscopes, because they're pretty prominent in this size vehicle. As you can see, the wheels have had their base coat done, and the rubber tyres are on there. It will receive a bit of dusting anyway, so they won't be as stark black as they are now. As you can see, it looks nice. I've got this bit's actually loose, because it's has a bolt inside. That's why it's sitting there like that. So that's the actual on the sprocket, the centre sprocket bit. Behind that is the actual bolt that holds the sprocket in place, obviously, for the road rim. I've actually got the muggles on the back, and they are the Tamiya ones, and they are movable, which is nice. Like I said, once I mucked the front ones, I decided to go with the plastic ones to the back again. So I'm really pleased with that. Everything works. Because the plate isn't actually secured down, which it will do, it gives it a bit of play. There won't be so much play once it's actually screwed down, and there'll be a bit of weight there. I've got to do the box that goes on the back. Obviously, it's over there. I might be able to show you it here. I've only sat the top bit on, because I've got to cut it up to actually put the photo edge hatches on, and it would sit about there. It won't stay there because it's got nothing to hold up, but about there. So it's going to look nice, but this bit's going to be cut up a little bit, and these hatches will be openable. So that's one thing I can do. Put them back over there. So I think that's enough for me looking at this angle. I didn't put the wheels on the other side because it was a lot of mucking about, because they will fall off if I'm not careful. So I will be showing you the back now. So I'm just going to switch the video off now and I'll come back into it showing you the back. So see you in a minute. Bye. Hi, this is Paul back with a look at the rear of the engine deck. The engine panel, the back of where the exhausts are, and this is where I've done all the photo etch at the moment and building the catches that are holding the actual starter rod up, which goes into the back hip in this pit here. So you've got those for the photo etch parts. They're not workable now because once I got them built, I thought they're too fiddly, so I've actually glued them so that actually once they're in place, so they won't open and close. You can see the box now has been completely revamped. Even the holders separate. The actual thing, the shelf is actually holding the toolbox in place. All the caches in place. The only thing I didn't put in there was a padlock, because I decided that the crew would want easy access and start mucking about with locks and padlocks. But I do understand the reason for padlocks, stop other crew people pinching their equipment. But anyway, so that's okay. The little white circles you can see is filler. They will actually, we won't see any of that later on. They have been sanded smooth, and that's okay. This is a closer look at the exhaust. That is only the first colour of the life colour rust set. I do like their particular paints for this. It goes on, but you can see there's a bit of texture there already. But the point is, I'm going to go in with 2 or 3 other colours to do it good. And then what I'm going to do then is when I spray the vehicle, I shall actually basically mask these off with just put a slot over them just to cover them up, and then spray the vehicle. And it won't matter too much then, because then I can actually go back in and sort out the actual rust. This bit on the top plate, I'm going to actually um, do reverse chipping and actually put some sand color dabs on top of that as well. And I can cover this up pretty straightforward with a circular piece of plastic paper all the way around it, so I can paint anyway. So that's good. The jack's in place. You can see with the actual, even got all the wing nuts on there holding these things in place. Fiddlers again, they were little brass ones, and I had to drill the holes out to make them fit, because they was meant to screw in place, because there is thread there, believe it or not, on those little bits, but the thread didn't work. So I just drilled it out slightly larger so I could slide it down and glue it in place, and that seemed to go quite well. But these little the catches on there, on the actual uh, jack handle up, basically it's so fiddly to do it. It looks small. I know the 35th scale ones are fiddly, but I think they haven't got no pins to put through or bend. You actually bend it and then slot them into a little pin that's already on the thing. So it might be a little bit easier. I'll find out when I try one later. But these were really fiddly, trying to put thin wires to make them work. As I said, they all worked at the time when I finished them, but the point is I just didn't want them working, just because it's a static model, so I'm not going to be taking tools off and bits and pieces. So they're all in place. Oh, we've got the actual photo etch light, reflector light over here, and it also got a light here underneath that. That was the night running one, as far as I can work out. Basically, at night time you wouldn't want a bright light, but if a tank was following you, it'd have that light to go on, so there'd be a little bit of a glow of red there. It hasn't been painted or done anything. I didn't use the photo etch one because when I looked at them both, there didn't seem to be a great deal to any more details to it, so I just went with it. And if I just pull this camera up slightly and then drop her down a little bit, excuse me. I think you can see what I did with the holes here, cut it off and drilled them out and smoothed them out. There is a plate in there. You're not going to see too much of that afterwards. There is a mesh you can put over it, but I'm not. I most probably won't, because I don't think they would have bothered. It's just to basically, this goes all the way in there, and the same on the other side. Once you've painted black in there, it won't look too bad anyway. Let's go. So I've got the engine. I won't put any the grills on the top of the engine deck, obviously, until I've actually just painted inside black, which I'm going to do most probably this weekend, most probably tomorrow. Inside black, so I can actually secure the top plate down. Then I can start adding details to the actual top as well. So things are going quite well, but it's taken a lot of time. And as I said, there's no real rush to do this, and because Switcher's in the same position as me, and he's been ill, a little bit ill as well. So he struggled through Christmas, over the Christmas period, just like us we did over here. So it's been good. I'm enjoying this vehicle build, and obviously once the actual wheels are fully fixed and the track's in place, it'll look quite nice. But I've got a lot more photo etching to do. All the tool clamps on the top of photo etch everywhere. I've got to build the photo etch smoke dischargers and obviously for the turret and for the actual sides. And there'd be two down this side because this is where the aerial takes the position of one. So there'd be one at the front and one at the back here, and one in the corner here, one there in the middle, and one at the front. So there's quite a few in the headlights. So I've got all those to do. It's coming along nicely, as I can see. So anyway, so I'll just switch off now and I'll come back in a couple of seconds. See you in a minute. Well, I think that'll be it. It's another little shot for you at the front. You see the hatches, the driver's hatches are a little bit easier in place, as I said, but you can lift them out. They've got their bits and pieces. I've got a photo etch to put underneath there. I went with all the inside of the hatches because when I remember looking at the Tiger at Bovington, the hatches are quite substantial. I thought the photo etching looked a bit too thin for my liking, so I went with that. But I will be putting the extra bits of the photo etch that actually in each hatch as well as up here. This actually lifts off, just to show you. There it goes. It's not permanent. It's just put there so I don't lose it. Get that bit. I'll get that bit back in a minute. Hold on. Oh well, never mind. I won't put. Oh, that's it. Oh, that'll do for now. But anyway, that does fit nice and snug and normal. And the other hatches are the same. So you can see what I mean. I think you can see the bolts on the back of the engine deck just about. If I move my hand, which are, let's get just there. They're all in place. So there you go. So, and I have got a wooden block to go here and actually put photo etch around that as well. So there's a lot of photo etch on this one to be done on the top and around the front and in the hatches. And once I've got that done, I'll be pleased. I will be putting these, as I said, Mr. Surfacer on the back of the engine compartment, vertical plate where the exhausts are, to finish off that, and then I'll start looking on to do it elsewhere. I will be doing some Mr. Surfacer all around the vehicle. I'll just be dabbing mine on in various places to give it that textured look, rather than I think Richard put quite a bit on his because he got these indentations underneath and it looks great. But I'm going for a slightly different look, but not too drastically different. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I'm sorry for it took so much time to actually get another update up. But as I said, right before Christmas, about 3 or 4 days before Christmas, I was feeling ill, and it went right through to virtually the new year. We weren't too well then, Eve, so we didn't do too much at all. But so I'm on the mend now, so I should be back doing a bit of modelling every day, which is great. And thank you very much for watching again. And again, Happy New Year to everyone again. I did wish it one with the Christmas one, but I might as well do it now. Happy New Year to all my subscribers and anyone that's watches and doesn't subscribe, not a problem. And thank you for all your kind comments on my videos over in 2017. There's so many great models there now, and as I said, I started doing a bit of car modelling as well now. I've got my Chevy pickup, got to do a bit of repair work because I had a little bit of problem with that, and I'll explain that when I do an update on that as well. So thank you very much for that, and Happy New Year, and I'll catch you in the next video. I think this was update number 2 on the build side. Thank you very much. See you next time. Bye.